Hi and welcome back to Tales Against Humanity, r// IDontWorkHereLady. In today's episode, management material. I do work here, but also I live here, and this isn't PetSmart Lady. Elderly woman asks me to help her find a nursing bra. IT, but not here. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. Management material. The men in my family have been blessed/cursed with premature aged hair. Whether this is premature balding, graying, or both, we start showing signs of being a mature male in our hair, in our early teens at our latest. On top of this, I am a teacher, and have been told that this gives me a very commanding posture when I am talking to people. I'm explaining this because I have been confused for a manager at most places that I work because people assume the older male is a manager. I don't work at Lowe's. I have never worked at Lowe's. And in my life, I've probably only been to /Lowe's like 5 times. I am currently at Lowe's in search of items to build a pet project of mine. A massive D20, over 2 feet in diameter, that can be thrown around and not cause physical damage if a child is hit. As I am discussing things, like different foams to use for the sides, different types of skeletal support, if stuffing it would help or hurt, and how to support the corners, I am steadily gaining more and more Lowe's employees around me as they ask each other for their different experiences. About 5 minutes go by, and while they do their best to assist me, we finally get to the point that their idea well has run dry. Eventually, I realize that they don't feel comfortable leaving without me giving them permission to go away. Thank you for your help, guys. I think I've gotten everything I need from you. Now I'll have to make some of my own decisions, I state, more or less, letting them relax and disappear into various parts of the store like the chained phantoms they are. Finally comes an exasperated voice, which was housed by an irate woman who was a haircut away from being a photographic example of a Karen. Before I can say anything, this woman comes towards me in a huff, literally dragging one of the store employees by his sleeve. This poor college-age boy who had probably thought that a job at Lowe's wouldn't add to his stress level when going to college gives me the look of someone who thinks he's about to be executed. I don't know what that woman had said to him, but he was clearly reconsidering all of his life choices up to that point. "Sir, I want you to know that your employee," she states, tugging on the boy's shirt, "has been disrespectful and completely incompetent." This caused an aha moment for both myself and the employee. I thought I had said or done something to annoy this woman and she was going to complain about me to the nearest employee, and the employee thought she was bringing him to her husband to get a secondary tongue lashing. Ma'am." The boy started, which drew daggers from the woman's eyes. But before he continued, I raised my finger at him and gave him the same face I give my students when we both know they're being stupid. "You will have your time to talk in a moment. I'll handle this for now," I state before turning to the Karen. "I'm sorry that you had a bad time, ma'am. I'll handle this situation from here. If you need further assistance, please feel free to go up to one of the front desks and explain your needs to them. They'll get you some further assistance." Finally, she states, practically preening on the fact that she's ruined someone's day. With a flip of her hair, she then marched out of the aisle the 3 of us were occupying. I wait until she turns the corner before looking at the employee. "We both know that I don't work here, right?" He nods, unsure of what's going to happen. I shake my head and roll my eyes. "Welcome to retail. Take a small 5-minute break and hopefully, she'll be gone before you're back on the floor." I then give him a grin. "That's an order from your manager." I could see the weight disappear from his shoulders as he takes a deep breath. 1/2 PVC pipe. I ask, having forgotten where I was instructed to go from the last conversation I had. 2 aisles over that way," he says, pointing. "Thanks," I respond before walking away and hoping I left the employee with a slightly better day. I do work here, but also I live here, and this isn't PetSmart Lady. Alrighty, this is my first time posting here on this subreddit, so I'll try to keep it concise. I've spent a lot of time enjoying the stories from you all, and I'm happy to be able to contribute. Please excuse any spelling or grammar errors. English is my first language, I'm just dumb. Recently, I have begun a dog walking and pet sitting business that I run out of my house with express permission from my landlord. I've worked with animals for years and I'm grateful to finally be able to do it for a halfway decent living. That being said, I've been much busier than I anticipated, and as such I've been a little stressed about overextending myself. I even had a nightmare about forgetting that I had to watch a dog, and the dog was left alone at their house for several days. Even though it was just a nightmare, this prompted me to get more serious about my organization and scheduling so I wouldn't miss anything. Nowadays, my schedule is rock solid and I've been super on top of it. I only say that so you guys can understand the immense confusion I felt when my doorbell rang at 2 p.m. on Monday, and I heard a dog barking outside. I get my dogs calmed down and answer the door. On my doorstep is an elderly woman, maybe 80 years old, holding a very cute West Highland Terrier. For anyone not familiar, they're the dog on the Caesar dog food package. I'm honestly so confused by her being there that my mouth does not form words. I just sort of stand there, opening and closing my mouth like a fish out of water, while my brain is just screaming, "You forgot! You forgot!" After a moment, she graciously saves me from myself and talks first. I'll refer to her as LOL for Lil Old Lady. LOL, hello, I'm Lil Old Lady and I'm here to drop my dog off for boarding. At this point, I'm almost positive that my nightmares have literally come true, and I have straight up deleted a dog from my short-term memory. But as I'm racking my brain, I cannot remember ever seeing this dog or woman before. Who is this little guy? LOL, this is Chico. I was hoping to leave him with you for the weekend while I visit my grandson. Okay. Hoping. That's an interesting word. Now I'm less anxious but more confused. Okay? Have we spoken about Chico before? LOL, oh no. But your neighbor Laura said you watched dogs, so I just brought him over. Okay. Now this is making more sense. Laura was my previous neighbor who had recently moved out. I had watched her dogs dozens of times, and she was always very kind to give my name out to people who were looking for dog sitters. Sometimes, however, she did treat me as on call in the sense that she would call me as she was pulling out of her driveway to tell me she was leaving for the weekend, and I would need to watch the dogs. She would play it off like she was so frazzled and forgot, but it started to get old after the third or fourth time. At this point, I have a Lil Old Lady with her energetic dog on my porch, and still more questions than answers. So I invite her in while I try to get to the bottom of it. Come to find out, LOL was a friend of Laura's mother, whom I had never met. Laura had a couple of my business cards at her house, and apparently the last time her mother was visiting, she took a couple of them to give them to her friends. Apparently, Laura inherited her entitlement from her mother, as her mother told LOL I was available anytime for dog sitting. Literally anytime. Worse yet, because Laura was my next-door neighbor, Laura's mom figured out my address and gave it to LOL. Because of that behavior, LOL had the impression that I was a dog boarding facility, and she was just as confused as I was to arrive at a normal-looking house. After we got it all explained, LOL and I had a pretty big laugh about it. LOL was super apologetic and sweet, but I knew it really wasn't her fault, so there was no harm done from her. She was just a sweet old lady who got a little confused. Unfortunately, because I was already booked, I couldn't watch Chico. But good news. LOL determined she could just visit her grandson this weekend, and I went ahead and booked her for it. Chico and my dogs had plenty of time to socialize while LOL and I were chatting, and they were becoming fast friends. I think I may have just fallen backwards into a great client. Still, I was a little miffed, so I called Laura to please ask her mother to not tell people that they can just come by anytime. Laura was legitimately confused as to why it was an issue. After a few minutes of going around in circles, I simply said I can't watch any dogs that I don't know and left it at that. While I wish that was the end of it, 2 days later, yesterday at the time of this post, Laura calls me to tell me she has just left her house, and could I please watch the dogs. I gently remind her that she had just moved 3 hours away, and I was no longer her neighbor. She just gave a half-hearted "oh" and hung up. Elderly woman asks me to help her find a nursing bra. This happened about 5 years ago or so. I took my infant son with me shopping at Walmart. I decided to cut through the women's clothing section aisle to bypass a few straggling shoppers taking up the main aisle when I was stopped by an elderly woman. This woman tried to speak to me, but was having some difficulties as her English wasn't all that great. We have a lot of different ethnic groups in my community, and due to my job, I have to interact with people who can barely speak English frequently. I'll paraphrase what she said to me to make the story quicker. "Woman, can you please help me? I'm looking for a nursing bra." Me, confused as to why an elderly woman needs a nursing bra. "I'm sorry, I don't work here and don't know where they are, but they should be in this general area." "Woman, please? Can you please help me? Store staff won't help as I don't speak English well." FYI, the majority of staff at this store are from her origin country, so either they are totally North Americanized and know little about the language of their family, or they just didn't want to help her. Me, trying to wrangle my son into sitting properly in my arms as he didn't want to sit in his car carrier. "I'm sorry, I don't know where to find them, and I don't work here, but I can help you look." "Woman, oh thank you. Thank you. My daughter just had a baby, and she asked me to get her a nursing bra. I don't even know what it is." I explained what a nursing bra was as I helped her look. Eventually I found them, as the undergarment section wasn't labeled correctly. Where a sign said nursing bras were located was actually socks. No big reno or revamp here, just laziness. "Woman, can you please help me find her size? She says she normally wears XXX, but she has grown since then." Me, not surprising, growing that little one in her. "Unfortunately I don't know what size she would be now, but this one here says it's more adjustable for woman normally her bust size. I'd recommend getting your daughter to try it on before removing the tags and exchange it if she needs a size up or down." "Woman, oh thank you. I knew when I saw you that you would be a big help. I saw your baby in your arms and knew you could help. Staff here aren't very nice." Her grandchild and my son now go to school together. Same class this year, apparently. We ran into each other the other day and she remembered me. IT, but not here. I work in information technology and my work shirt says so, but also has my company logo. Many years ago at a store that sold computers, I was helping my sister buy a new laptop and showing her the various features of different ones after work, so I'm wearing my work polo. A lady comes up on the other side of me and asks me a simple question about computers, and so I answer it and go back to talking to my sister. The lady again interrupts and asks another question, which I answer, and go back to my sister. The third interruption is to ask about discounts or coupons applying to certain ones, or something like that, and I say I don't know. She says could I go ask someone, which is when my sister, a bit less patient than me, says, "He doesn't work here, go ask them yourself." The lady shushes her, "Nonsense, he's wearing their uniform." Which is the moment I realized that my work shirt was the same color as the store uniform. I turned fully toward her and pointed out the logo of my well-known company and say, "It's just a coincidence. I actually work for IT at company, and we happen to have the same color shirt." Instead of apologizing or being embarrassed, she exclaimed, "Well, why are you in here selling computers to people?" My sister exploded, "He's not." Duh. While I at the same time said, "She's my sister." Hearing two people at once, I guess she heard neither and cursed at us and marched off. "You don't have to be so fing rude." My sister gave her some choice words, and then we laughed and laughed. My sister still brings it up from time to time whenever she thinks I'm being too patient with people. Usually being patient pays off, only sometimes not.